guys, I'm getting in the car to make the video today. Didn't really even want to make a video today, if I'm being completely honest. I just kind of feel like garbage today. But I'm kind of forcing myself to do this every day as well. And I've already got several videos in the pipe, so like I could have not made one, but I'm gonna make one anyway. And this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, and this will probably be titled The Woman Question or something like that, because that's what this video is going to be about. I've talked about women in the past on my other videos. If you guys have been watching, I haven't really been getting a ton of views, getting back into the swing of YouTube and all those things, but yeah, this is my channel, Jigsaw. My name is Joey. If you guys like the videos, please go ahead and consider subscribing. It really will help the channel grow, get back into the swing of things, and like the videos, share the videos, all that jazz. Comment down below as well. Have not been getting any comments. I would like to get those, because that'll probably give me further video ideas once I start getting comments. But yeah, so the woman question, guys, it's something to consider. And this kind of goes along with a recent incident that happened with this woman named Shiloh Hendricks, which I might make a separate video on in and of itself as it develops, because there's a lot more to that than just what's going on with her. That's like more of a racial thing that's kind of happening in the country right now. And it's been happening for several years, really. It's just breaking through now, basically. But the woman question is essentially I think women instinctively sense that something is wrong. Like the majority of women. I've read a lot of articles. I've been following, MGTOW channels for years. I'm very plugged into like the manosphere level of thinking. It was actually, that was one of my that was one of the big things that I've been doing over the past 5 years, is kind of just learning the nature of women, as weird as that sounds. Because it's like, you just don't get taught these things. I don't know, we literally got taught that women are just like these perfect little angels, and you'll find your woman. That's what I was always told. I still get told that now. Oh, you're not that old. By the way, I'm going to be 37 this year. You're not that old. You'll find her. But we'll see. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I've kind of resigned myself to my fate at this point. If I do, then I do. But if I don't, then I don't. It really sucks that that's the situation that we are in as men, but that kind of is. And this ties into the woman question. It's like, what is a man to do? What is a man to do when women have been completely brainwashed to basically just hate everything about you? It's very odd. It is very odd, because like when I see men, this is why I don't completely subscribe to a lot of the manosphere stuff, because I see men now doing the same thing, but I don't see this like vitriolic hatred of women from men like I do from women to men. I see a lot of accusations, like they'll call men misogynist, right? Like I might even get called that for making this video. You'll get called misogynist or sexist or whatever. I've been called an asshole by some women. Like she's like, I need you to not be one of the assholes. I've actually had that criticism, right? Just for like being completely honest about things. And that just ties into women not being able to have any sort of accountability either in the modern world. So really, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the men are just kind of like, in my case, like I'm kind of just exhausted, if I'm being honest. Like, you can only get rejected so many times in life before you just kind of give up. It's like it's like I've had success with women, and I've been on like the cusp of you know, having a wife and all that, but there's also a lot of rejection I've gone through. A lot of men's issues too. Women just don't seem to even care about or understand, right? They don't understand by like being in the workforce and voting. Essentially, you're kind of screwing the man over right there. It's like you want men to do these things, but then you also want to go on your 3.5 vacation cruises every year as well, and you know, vote in socialist policies, welfare policies, you know, abortion policies. They have like there's like no self-awareness in there. But one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video as well, in the current year of our Lord 2025, is that the woman issue seems to be metastasizing in a very interesting way. This is why I brought up Shiloh Hendricks at the beginning of the video, is that you're starting to see women get the ick now towards basically the society that they voted in. Now, again, you can make the argument whether voting is fake and gay or not. I tend to think it's more fake and gay than it is not. However, it is still a thing, and it is used to convince the populace, right, through propaganda, and women are very susceptible to this, to buy into this whole like you can make a change attitude. And so what I'm seeing in society though now is that it's like the women are finally kind of just realizing the multicultural hellscape that has been, right, the Malthusian hellscape that has been dished out to them over damn near 100+ years of feminist propaganda at this point. And they're getting the ick. And what is the ick? The ick is basically when women don't like something, they kind of make it known in very passive aggressive ways. It's almost like they do it in ways to where they want the man's help. They want assistance from the man. Be like, hey, we've got this problem. The ick, I don't even know if the ick is a historical thing. It might just be like a modern thing. But because in the past, when you didn't have feminism, I think women had husbands and they had communities, so they could just go and tell the men, like, hey, there's this problem and I need you to deal with it. But now we live in a society where, you know, I'm just gonna park here and finish the video. Now we live in a society where, because of feminism, a lot of the women are single, they're single mothers. A lot of the men, again, like I said, are going MGTOW, or like me, you know, I wouldn't call myself an incel, but, you know, I definitely, I am not getting the kinds of women that I would like, which is a godly woman, right? And, you know, I'm not perfect. I struggle with like pornography and things like that still to this day, but a lot of that is because I always say, like, sex is like food. I mean, men really need that. That's another thing women don't understand. They don't understand that, you know, when a man gets like no sex ever, it's very detrimental to the man's overall well-being. So we're in this weird situation, yeah, where essentially most of the men and women are not married, but there are like children all around, and so there's like this societal duty that the women are sensing. And again, there's a caveat here, just to give women some slack, is that I've always argued that men could fix this problem very quickly. We're bigger and stronger than women for a reason. We can basically just overpower them and just say, no, like, we're going to take charge now, right? Like, we're going to restore order to the society. And I don't even mean in like a physical way. Like, really, it's as simple as just telling women no. But a lot of men just literally can't even do that anymore. It's really wild. Like, they will just succumb to every single whim of the woman. It's like almost like they're just ignoring the fact that women are emotional beings. They don't think logically in a lot of ways. So that's what men are for. You know, we're there to, in the same way women are there to help us so that we don't become like completely shut down and and autistic and insane, you know, men are there to kind of control women's emotions. So there's also that aspect where the men could just fix this. But that leads to the problem of the woman question in the modern day, is that a lot of men don't see value in fixing the problem because the women are kind of ungrateful. It's a good way to put it. Andrew Wilson talks about this a lot. It's called covert feminism. If you guys want to look up a really cringe woman, she's like my age. Her name is Tommy Lauren. She's had several blunders in her past, but she is a perfect example of covert feminism. And then for like the boomers in the audience, if you want an example for like someone that's more around your age, just look at Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, I've always argued, is a perfect example for covert feminism. And essentially what that is these are women that pretend to be trad, or they support trad. They'll always caveat that, like, I support women being at home and blah, 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 blah. They'll always like pay that lip service. And then they'll go into, oh, but I think women need to be in the workforce, right? I think that women need to focus on themselves first. I think that they really need to not rely on a man. They'll basically just say that, right? They just like contradict themselves. So yeah, Megyn Kelly, and these are more dangerous in my opinion than like the AOCs, or, you know, like the Camelia Paglias, another like older feminist, or I'm trying to think of like hardcore feminists right now. There's just so many. It's like where do you begin, right? You could go back to like Betty Friedan with the feminine mystique. That's like old school feminism, but almost every woman is infected with this now, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Like the covert feminism is basically just, it's feminism, but it's like in a right-wing lens. So it's all feminism. It's all bad for society. But you have almost everyone, I'd say like 90% of women, and I test this on a regular basis just by asking simple questions to women. A lot of people, you know, I've heard a lot of criticism of the Socratic method on YouTube, but I think that works perfectly for a lot of things. You just ask the questions and listen to the answers people give you. It's that simple. So you just ask them these questions, and you know, it always devolves down to, I mean, even the most conservative women that I've thought in my past, like it does always boil down to this: women need the right to choose. And essentially all that means in the modern world is that the right to abort your child whenever you like, right? The right to go out and have meaningless sex, the right to wait until you're in your 30s to even consider a man or children, you know, the right to do literally anything. Like, again, no concept of societal duty, no concept of what the man wants, you know, what's best for the children, nothing like this. It's just about me, 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 me. And this is especially a weakness of women because they are emotional. So you can really target them with this kind of propaganda and completely destroy their brains with it. So anyway, I've digressed, but this all pertains because women are now getting the ick with society, right? You're saying women, this is in the case of this Shiloh Hendricks, she just started saying the N-word in public, basically. And there's a lot of instances of this where they're recognizing the immigration problem, right? This multiculturalism, you know, hellbound soup that we've all been poured into. You know, the women are now starting to feel the pressure, right? Like this Shiloh woman, she lives in Minnesota, and I read something that during the Biden years, they dumped a whole bunch of Somalis off in Minnesota. And they were doing this all over the country, right? Like they dumped, I can't remember where they dumped the Haitians, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. They were doing this all over. They were like, they were busing them. I criticized this 3 or 4 years ago. I think I actually made a video about that, about Martha's Vineyard, when they sent him to Obama's place and he like got rid of them. But that's where the government failed in the Biden years, is that instead of, you know, holding them at the border or whatever, they would like flood them into the country. They sent them to parts of the country. And again, remember, Biden, I think he was rigged in, but still, you know, women largely in 2020 were supporting this. I remember this was when I still had a job. I was talking to people about this, and you know, they all thought like America was back. And I live in a pretty conservative state but there's just so many people that just they couldn't get past the Trump is mean thing. And that is also a symptom of a feminized society, which goes back to the woman question, right? So women are getting the ick and they want men to do something about it. That's the bottom line. But the men have no reason to do anything about it right now, because especially men my age and older that don't have women, it's like we're getting tired, we're getting old, you know? I'm not like old yet, but I'd say I'm squarely in middle age. I'm definitely not a young man. And so they want men to do something about it, but a lot of the men don't want to do anything about it. And so what's going to happen, you know, I don't exactly know what's going to happen as far as, you know, like, again, I'm not supporting this UTOW. I'm trying to like tiptoe around this, as you guys can tell, because I'm trying not to, you know, bother YouTube so I can not get my channel nuked before it ever gets going again. But not advocating for any kind of violence, YouTube, any kind of racial tension, but this is just a bold prediction, I guess, is that I think that the only way that this will be fixed is that there will need to be great action. Like I've talked about Trump and the return of the strong man, right? I don't see Trump fixing this problem ultimately, though. I see Trump as more of a dam. He's kind of like holding the tides back. You know, Kamala would have completely broken through. Kamala Kazi, that would have been the one good thing about her, I've said, is that she would have caused it to get so bad so fast that people would have had like literally no choice but to start addressing the problems. But you know, it's going to happen anyway. That's the nice thing about reality, right? When the metaphysics of reality clash with the unreality that we currently live in, a reality will eventually win, no matter how much amount of propaganda or psyops you thrust at a nation. You know, eventually the truth will find its way eventually. And so yeah, the woman question, guys, the woman question, you know, there's another part of this too, that a lot of older women my age, they're doing IVF now, and they think this is like a good thing, but I've read a lot of studies where IVF actually kills just as many embryos as abortions do. So it's a dark time, you know. I think even Elon Musk is like encouraging IVF now. Like that's another thing with the Republican Party, the people that Trump has surrounded himself. Not good. We're entering like a Blade Runner future. And again, all of this could be solved if we just told women no. It's that wild. All we would have to do is tell women like, hey, you know, we tried this, and you know, the women are gonna freak out, right? They're gonna get the ick if a lot of guys did this, but they would fall in line eventually, because deep down women like this. That's something about women I've learned, is they like to be led. It's part of the attraction to men, right? It's just all this, you have to get through this layer of feminist propaganda now that past generations didn't even have to consider. So it's really just so annoying to think about, is that this would make like George Orwell blush, or like anyone that wrote anything dystopian in the past. I don't think they had any clue how bad it could get, and we're there. So you have to get through these layers of propaganda that's instilled in their brains. Even the most well-meaning women, they have this, and it's a product of so much. Our education system, you know, our immigration system, taxation, just everything. The fact that literally E. Michael Jones talks about this, there's no family wage. That used to be a priority of society, of you actually wanted to empower the man to go out and make money, because then he could support a family, right? You wanted to gear society in that way to where the man could solely provide. But you know, greedy elites, right? Smug elites, just absolutely disgusting elites. And, you know, I might make a video on Donald Trump as well, just a separate video about him, because I've had a long-standing theory that he's not right-wing at all. He's just literally Bill Clinton from the 90s, but the Overton window has shifted so much that people don't really recognize this. Because Trump is not a radical. He really is not. I mean, they're bringing it up like Obama had like over 3 million deportations in his presidency. So like, Trump is really doing nothing crazy. I mean, what has he done? The only thing that Trump has really done that's actually decent is that he's kind of shown a light on the media. But again, with these videos that people can make now, this was already happening. Stefan Molyneux talked about this like 8 years ago, is that this was already happening, and the media didn't know how to deal with it. And that's why they went insane, because they realized their monopoly on, you know, their aristocratic monopoly on the masses was breaking fast. So this all pertains to the woman question, because it's now shattering. It's now completely shattering. You know, what are men to do about the ick is another thing. Like, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to just pretend forever that nothing's bad because we don't want to offend women? Is that really what it is? We don't want to offend women, so we're not willing to do anything? I mean, I don't want to live in, that is no future, guys, because that's, look at I think North or South Korea, I always forget. One of the Koreas, just study the Koreas, right? They currently have the worst birth rates in the entire world right now, to the point where it's a completely dystopian, authoritarian hellhole society, because they basically have to treat every human being as if it's like a scarce resource, because they have to have people to do stuff, right? Like, if you don't have people, then you don't have anything, right? Things start breaking. You know, you don't have any workers, you don't have anyone to do anything. And we're already there, right? The boomers are kind of, by them just being alive and being boomers, they're keeping a lot of this afloat. But when they die, I mean, does Gen X have the skills to run the electric grid, to keep plumbing going? Like, we're going to find out. We're going to find out all these things, guys. And my prediction is a little more black-pilled than most. I do not think people are ready for this. So that's where we're at with the woman question. This is kind of devolved into a longer, more broader rant, but that's kind of what these videos are going to be like. I'm just going to go on these rants. They're very unscripted, and you know, I've been thinking about these things for years, and this is just what it is. So that's the choice before us, gents. If you're watching this, women, ladies, if you're watching, I doubt I'm going to get any female viewers, but for the good of everything, we just have to start saying no to women. And who cares if they get the ick, right? Right now they're getting the ick in a good way with the Shiloh thing. There is a sense of vengeance right now. There's this term called black fatigue. Again, I want to make videos on this stuff, but I don't know how the racial issue works on YouTube. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get completely blasted on YouTube if I make these videos, but needless to say, there very much is a concept called black fatigue that we're really seeing. This really started with the Carmelo Anthony thing, which is the mirror to this Shiloh Hendricks thing. Hendricks, I don't know if I'm getting her name wrong. Where basically this Carmelo guy killed somebody, and he's like $500,000. And so that's where we're at now with that as well. The women are finally getting the ick on that. Like, hey, you know, this is kind of messed up that this one group of people can just do whatever they want and get away with it. And, you know, there's another group of people as well that I don't think is YouTube friendly, because I might be called anti-Semitic, but the women are noticing. They are noticing the things. We'll say that. The nudicing of the women is going up. And that's giving them the ick in a good way. But it just comes to a point where, I mean, the men have to take action. I know a lot of men don't have a lot of reasons to take action, but, you know, I don't even want to say, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? Really, the best thing a man can do at this point is to just position himself. And, you know, I'm not there. I'm not in a great position in my life financially right now. I'm not in debt. It's just that, like, I'm having a really hard time finding employment or making any kind of money. I'm barely getting by each day. But there's a lot of men, like if you're single, you know, you can do that. You can actually get by pretty easily on your own. And you know, if the Shiloh thing is any indication of hope, it's that she did get a lot of money very quickly. So it shows you that there is this community out there ready to support each other, regardless of, you know, YouTube and media and all this garbage that's trying to contain the situation, right? I don't even know what they're doing at this point. They're just containing it until collapse. Like the elites are just so stupid, and they just it's over for them, right? Like there is no political solution to this. There really is no. You're not going to vote your way out of this. So this went on as this is like a complete rant, but I still think the overall message holds with the woman question. So that's kind of the video, guys. I appreciate you guys listening to me rant. If you guys have actually been watching these videos over the past couple weeks, you know, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Any support you could give me would be greatly appreciated. And then comment down below. But yeah, that's the video. I'll talk to you guys later.